Or do I want it to move along like Last of Us, where they teleport from freaking Boston to Kansas City and not develop? I don't know.
They spent so much god time in that arcade with that ugly, big-headed Samoan. Like kiss her already, so we can move on. Joel's
we can go to the next scene.
Out. Joel is bleeding out from a filthy baseball handle stab wound. You got to reminisce about your
nonsense.
Is that the proper word? Your stupid girlfriend.
Yes. They.
I don't care. I don't
That's
care
preferred.
if you're gay. I don't care. I don't care.
I care about the fungus.
Joel is bleeding. Here's the thing. Here's the worst part. Nothing about that flashback had anything to do with like abandoning or staying with Joel. Actually,
man, I haven't watched this episode. I was on an island
to stay. I guess she's remembering back to her girlfriend.
Hold on, Kyle. Don't say anything too much because
it's okay. I can remove myself from the conversation.
Has not seen it yet.
Oh, I didn't even.
But
I played the game, so I played the game. The games are. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the way that the progression goes. I mean, so with this episode, because I haven't seen it, but like the game
flashback.
I'm kind of surprised that people are surprised that the game is very gay facing. Like it's a gay game, you know. Like to me, I don't know where the placement is, but like.
Oh, I don't care about the gay part.
No, I'm saying there are a lot of people that when the third episode with was it Nick Offerman?
Nick Offerman.
Yeah, and
we
were
love that.
God, that was so good. But they were like, I said something about it, and I saw so many people on Twitter like, what the fuck are they doing with this? I'm like, you never played the game. You never there's no way that people are like missing.
I never played the game. I love that episode. It might be their best episode. Loved it.
I think it was good.
I thought it was one of the best episodes of TV to have ever been aired.
I agree. It was tremendous. I cried.
It was emotional. It was good, but like
I want that
the difference is like that episode, even though it was a sidetrack thing, it set the stage for something that became important later. And it also, I think we talked about this on the Hangout, like an importance of showing that was setting an anchor point for hope so that it's like, it's not just surviving another day. Happiness is possible. Look at these people who kind of carved out a happy existence. It gives the character something to aspire to so it doesn't feel so dreary and all that. And so it to me, it made total sense and it was done very well. This most recent episode is another ham-handed romance. Not another ham-handed, is a ham-handed romance. And unlike that episode 3, it adds nothing to the deepness of the story. It genuinely feels like I could have skipped this episode entirely and I wouldn't lose a thing
I wish
at all.
I had.
Did you know?
It's bad. It's the first sincerely bad episode of the series.
Did it get rated? Really? Did it get rated as the bad one? Because I remember that the testers said, I remember reading before the third episode, people were like, all right, just FYI, this is the best episode of the season according to early viewers or whatever. But I don't pay attention to this stuff. So I don't know if this was expectedly to be like a slower episode or
the main story doesn't progress at all. I would say there are 5 minutes in our current timeline in the 2020s. And then the remaining 45 minutes is spent with an Ellie flashback to the earliest point of her life that we have yet seen.
Got it.
And her and Fedra and since you haven't seen it, I won't go through a whole spoiler.
No, I know.
But
what you're talking
it's
about.
love story like kissy kiss all night.
Yeah.
I don't care if she's sucking dick or eating pussy. That's not my point. My point is I don't care about her relationship. The only thing that I can even now I'm trying to make that episode matter to her current situation with Joel. I guess there is sort of the idea toward the end of that of someone agreeing to like stay with you instead of leaving. So
like a commitment.
But man, you spent 45 minutes earning that and we talked about it on PKN extensively, but like how much power was seemingly being wasted in that scene irked me a little bit. If we're in a post-apocalypse, like that was a lot of electricity.
I looked up the ratings for the episodes. I was curious. It's the lowest, but still really high. The episodes have been rated. Good. The worst was 96%, and the best was 100. That one was 96% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. So
we'll see how it ages, but that is
it's just
not a
what
helpful
level of good A you get.
Yeah.
How many episodes does a season have? Because I don't mind. Here's the thing. Like I watch through Star Trek: Next Generation all the time.
So that's a like 12%. I can't do math.
15%, right? No,
no,
12.
14
9 would be
13,
9,
somewhere around there. 13,
roughly
8,
10%.
9, 10,
yeah, I think it'd be
11.
It'd be
11.
Calculate.
Just go through the multiplication tables and you get there eventually.
I'm fucking stupid. But yeah, that is a lot of episode to use on what you guys are saying is not like a progressive one, especially when Woody, you said that you thought the story was progressing pretty fast for the show.
I liked that episode more than other people. I felt like I got a little insight as to what life was like right before she left town. Because I didn't play the game, like to me there's some insight.
They took them 45 minutes to say we used to live in dormitories where we worked out. It was basically all they had to say was it was essentially a private school.
Dude, honestly, compared to some of the other episodes, it's mind blowing. This is the same show. That's how bad, in my view, this episode was. I like was getting aggravated during it because I'd like pause to go pee, and I'm like, dude, it's 38 minutes in and nothing's happened.
That's how I felt. I felt aggravated for different reasons when they first went to Kansas City. Like the road was blocked. And they're like, oh, well, I guess we just drive through the worst infected city in the country, because that's the best idea going forward. Oh, look, there's an ambush just like I used to make. I should probably drive towards it and hope for the best. And I'm like, you haven't been mind-blowingly stupid. You've been street smart guy for 4 episodes now. And now you're just so mind-blowingly stupid. I can't get it.
Going to Kansas City and then Kyle showing me the lore of like, KC is supposed to be like ground zero of hell. And it's like, oh, so you went through there, the natural route from Massachusetts to Kansas City to Wyoming. And like, what the fuck and oh, don't worry. All the fungus are harmlessly lurking underground.
Yep. And that ambush, just like we used to do, let's head towards it. I particularly struggled with that.
What Kyle said that made mention of with the power usage, there are things in post-apocalyptic worlds that really bother me specifically, and I thought they did a good job, or at least a decent job, just getting rid of like the very basic shit in the first episode or so. Maybe it was the second where she's like, what are you doing? He's like, gasoline's pretty much dog shit. We got to do this every 2 hours or else we're not going to make it. We got to keep siphoning gas. And I was like, okay, well, like that's better than just driving on a full tank of gas for the entire way without addressing that. But the power, like amount of power that some of the city is using, like what do you mean by you like tons of lights and shit? And then
I don't want to like give too much away on the episode since you haven't seen it, but there's a scene where essentially
you won't like it if that bothers you. You're gonna be like, oh fucking
they choose to turn the power on to an old world building that is full of
like
lights
electronics and
stuff,
electronics,
and like it'd be like they don't go to a baseball stadium. It would be the same thing. It would be. It's probably worse what they did than lighting up a baseball stadium.
And you're like, the grid can't handle this. And
they're just like casually walking around, like, look at this and look at that. And all I'm thinking is some poor guy wherever they are burning pig shit to make the electricity. He's like, more pig shit quickly. Like dials going off the fucking spinner.
It's interesting because it's based on a game. In a game, if you told me like, oh, this girl's staying here, but there's a monster that jumps out at you, I'd say, absolutely. Right? Of course there's monsters jumping around. That's almost how I know I'm still going in the right direction. But in a TV show or a movie, I'm like, what? They didn't clear this building out of bad guys first? Like, they have a child staying, 16, but I'm calling a 16-year-old a child. And like, how could the adults be like, you stay here on some fucking rags you put on the floor using them as pillows, and we didn't clear this building to make sure there are no zombies in it? Outrageously dumb. But in a game, par for the course.
Well, I didn't think about that. I like the show a lot, and I think right now it's winning me over with the acting of the 2 leads and the special effects.
You know what?
Because all that's on point.
Yeah, I was gonna say the casting was really good, and I feel like I think you probably, since you didn't play the game, maybe that's a differentiating thing.
I'm not appreciating it, but I've seen the appreciation threads and looked a little into it and been like, wow, that is beat for beat. They get it.
Yeah, it's like who's the Pedro Pascal. I don't know why I blamed on it. The guy's a genius. So good. But it kind of hurts when people refer to it as like the best video game adaptation, right? Because it's just like a really great show, period. And it's
don't you wish he was Mario now?
Did you see the Saturday Night Live?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was. I was like, all right, sign me up. This is way better.
If they made that movie, I would be 100% down. You just have to play it like for real and take it seriously. When he looked over and was like, "It's a me, Mario," with that like gray hair and like the wrinkles and stuff, it's like, fuck yeah, I never even considered like an old school Mario.
Yeah. It was cool.
Like with the old rusty pipe and like beating up Gen Z like turtles or whatever.
Yeah.
Every now and then SNL does something like that and it ends up being a movie. So fingers crossed that they make a terrible Mario movie, though it seems like they're already well on their way to doing that with Chris Pratt.